New York State gets on board with the CDC. How soon you can take off your mask if you're vaccinated.
It was a warm, beautiful afternoon. What you can expect through this evening and by tomorrow morning.
It's Bonnie and Clyde, but with a twist. New York Live talks with actor Justin Theroux on his new thrill ride drama. This is News 4 Now for May 17th. I'm Adam Cooperstein, and it's been days since the CDC's big announcement that if you're fully vaccinated, you can safely ditch the mask in most places. But the rules in New York State hadn't changed until now. Governor Cuomo finally weighing in, and the changes are coming soon.
Effective this Wednesday, we're going to adopt the CDC's new guidance and regulations on masks and social distancing for vaccinated people. By the CDC guidance, immunocompromised people and vaccinated people should continue to wear a mask and social distance. But if you are vaccinated, you are safe. No masks, no social distancing.
The governor says the state will follow the CDC guidance on public transportation and other areas where you still have to wear a mask for now, and the decision is left up to private businesses' discretion if they still want to require masks in New York State. As for the rest of the tri-state, at last check, New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy said his state isn't quite ready to ditch the masks just yet. And in Connecticut, Governor Ned Lamont says residents can lose the masks on Wednesday, just like New York. Subway service has now resumed 24 hours, 7 days a week. It officially resumed at 2 a.m. this morning. Nearly a year ago, you might remember, overnight service got suspended to allow those subway cars to be deep cleaned. The MTA is hoping that ridership will get closer to pre-pandemic levels. That's when there were 5.5 million riders a day. At the low point during the pandemic, that number was around 300,000 a day. Now the MTA is seeing about 2.2 million riders per day, so things are trending up. Today, New York's midnight outdoor dining curfew is getting lifted. That is welcome news for restaurants all over the 5 boroughs. And while they'll be able to serve people later, restaurants say they still need to see more people coming through in general.
Well, we need the theaters back, but it's going to help a lot.
Everything's kind of coming back together again. Like we're New York City strong.
Indoor dining curfews in New York will expire at the end of the month, and the tri-state as a whole also lifting more capacity restrictions Wednesday. That includes not just restaurants, but retail, personal care services like salons and barbershops, and gyms, museums, theaters, and offices too. Well, a car slammed into a Staten Island home and set off a gas explosion. This happened before 1 this morning in the Myers Corners neighborhood. Fire officials say that a car crashed right into the garage of the home on Fields Avenue and hit a gas main. And that's what set off an explosion that caused part of that garage to collapse. Thankfully, no one was hurt, and it's still not clear what led up to the crash. In New Jersey, grief counselors are going to be available at Paterson schools this week after the death of a 7-year-old boy. Police say 46-year-old Iris Tolentino stabbed and killed her 7-year-old son David and injured his 17-year-old brother on Saturday morning inside their home. Police say the mother is now awaiting a mental health evaluation, and Paterson School's superintendent is asking parents and teachers to monitor the emotional well-being of their kids. Well, for the first time, we're hearing an interview with the late rapper DMX recorded just 3 weeks before he died. In his final interview on TV One, the Yonkers native talks about everything from his career to his relationship with his mom. DMX, whose real name was Earl Simmons, died last month, a week after he had a heart attack. He was 50 years old. The beloved rapper left behind a large family and countless fans. Just weeks before he suffered a heart attack, DMX shared how grateful he is for how his life turned out.
I really feel like I'm gonna look back on my life just before I go and thank God for every moment, for every single moment, because it's those moments like drops of water in the ocean, when they come together, you see the beauty of who you are and why you are.
DMX's career spanned 3 decades, but his fans will have one more chance to hear his songs for the first time. On May 28th, a posthumous album called Exodus is expected to be released. Jay-Z, Alicia Keys, and Snoop Dogg are all expected to be part of that album. A warm May afternoon for us, but Maria, with that good weather comes something else to think about: pollen.
It really did feel like mid-May with all of that sunshine and warm temperatures. But the other side of it, of course, is that we still have everything blooming. So just a heads up if you're going to continue to be out this evening, looking at the tree and the grass pollen, high to very high. So if you are an allergy sufferer, it may be a little difficult because it is still going to be so great outside. Temperatures staying near 70 degrees even at 8 p.m. with that sunset after 8 p.m. Clear skies into late this evening. Temperatures slowly dropping into the mid-60s. And then by tomorrow morning, we'll see about 58 degrees in the city, mid-40s from Sussex, Monticello, and Poughkeepsie, staying in the mid-50s from Merrick, Islip, over to Eastport. The winds will be light and the skies will be clear, so another nice start to what will be a very warm May afternoon.
Running from the U.S. government with your kids in tow. New York Live has a look at the new drama Mosquito Coast.
If you're looking for a gripping thrill ride of a series, you're going to want to put The Mosquito Coast on your watch list. The drama stars Melissa George and Justin Theroux as radical idealists who bring their kids on a wild and dangerous ride as they run from the U.S. government. Think of it as like Bonnie and Clyde, but with a plot twist.
This is going to be an adventure.
I'm scared.
Absolutely.
Justin, you win for the background.
What? Okay, great.
Yes.
It's the last of our chilly days. Sorry.
I love it. I love it.
Like, can you take us inside Allie's head? What is this guy's driving force?
He's sort of the kind of classic anti-hero in the vein of, you know, Jack London or Jack Kerouac, or, you know, he's got this wanderlust that he wants to just sort of, you know, be forward-leaning and pushing into the world, and he wants to be doing it with his family. And I think the central part of a piece of tension is, you know, he says that he wants to do everything for his family, give them a better life, you know, sort of find their Shangri-La, but at what cost, kind of, you know, because it's not necessarily clear whether he wants to do this for his family or whether he wants to do this for himself.
How special is it that you get to share a role with Harrison Ford?
You know, it's always an odd thing. You don't want, when you're doing a role that someone else has done before, you obviously have the impulse that you'd love to reach out and talk to them, but you're like, I don't want to make it look like I'm, you know, mining them for their secrets or their magic tricks or whatever. Coincidentally, I ended up staying at the same hotel, and
This is crazy.
yeah, and we put a little dinner together, just me and him, sort of in one of those private back rooms, and had a really hilarious, fabulous dinner.
Well, dozens of birds are being found stunned, confused, or even dead near the World Trade Center Memorial. And bird advocates say that a glass railing might be to blame for this. News 4's Erica Byfield explains from Lower Manhattan.
Manhattan's Liberty Park offers stunning views of the World Trade Center. It's styled with wooden benches and lush planters billowing with greenery. It's another feature, a glass railing that's proving to be deadly for birds.
And on average, each time I walk around it, there's another bird or two birds there.
Callista McCrae and her friend have visited Liberty Park every day since October, collecting injured and dead birds. She estimates in the last 2 weeks they've found nearly 30 in this park or on the sidewalk below.
We're only getting a snapshot because no one is standing there every minute of the morning. Who knows how many they bounce off and then fly off into the trees and then succumb to head trauma later.
It's this glass railing at the World Trade Center complex that's creating the problem for birds that aren't native to New York. They're attracted to the city's lights while migrating. At daybreak, they look for food. And when it's time to fly from one set of trees to another, that's when they can hit the glass.
It's really sad. I actually had no idea this was happening.
If something can be done, then it should be done.
Not all of the birds are dying. Some are stunned, found alive.
Wow. Yeah. It's terrible.
The executive director of New York City Autobahn says the Port Authority is not alone in needing a fix. Reflective glass on the city's skyscrapers are also problematic for birds.
Really, the problem is huge. So it's about 1 billion birds a year in North America. Probably we estimate 230,000 or so a year in New York City are killed.
Advocates want this glass replaced with tinted glass. They say if you need to keep the clear glass, maybe add some etching. Other parts of the park are adorned with a metal gate. Bird lovers are okay with this option too. Until there's change, Callista McCrae will be here to rescue the survivors and care for the dead.
It doesn't have to be a problem.
Erica Byfield, News 4, New York.
Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.